Welcome back to the Chug Nerd YouTube channel. What's up, everybody? Today we're going to be checking out this absolutely gorgeous Schecter guitar. Let's see what she's all about. Alright, welcome back to the Chug Nerd YouTube channel, everybody. My name is DJ. I'm a guitarist from the southwest of the UK. Been playing guitar for about 20 years or so now, and been doing this YouTube thing for about 10 months or so at this point. So before we get started, if you go on to enjoy anything that you see today, it would absolutely mean the world to me if you would hit the subscribe button, maybe even leave a like or drop a comment as well. I love catching up with people down in the comment section down below, hearing your thoughts on the guitars that we're checking out. Anyway, with that out of the way, let's check out what we're looking at today. So this here is the Schecter Demon FR6 guitar. Before we go any further, let's see how she sounds in a full demo mix. And full disclosure, this really brought out the metalcore in me, more specifically the mid-2000s metalcore, so enjoy. Alright, at this point in the video, I love to run through some specifications of the guitar that we're looking at while we roll some rather beautiful B-roll. So this is the Schecter Demon 6 FR in the crimson red colorway. We've got a basswood body with a flame maple top, bolt-on construction with a Wenge fingerboard. We got a 25.5-inch scale with 24 extra jumbo nickel frets and a 14-inch radius. The neck shape is described as a thin C. This guitar has got a Floyd Rose special bridge and of course a Floyd Rose locking nut at the headstock end. We have got a volume, a tone and a three-way toggle switch for the electronic controls, and we've got some Schecter Diamond Active HB 105S pickups in the bridge and the neck. So two quick things. Thing number one, let's look at signal chain for today's video. We are going to be using the same signal chain that I always use, and that is going to be the Schecter Demon 6 FR going into my Scarlett Focusrite interface. That's going to be going into GarageBand, and in GarageBand I've got the Neural DSP SLO 100 plugin loaded up, and that's just using one of my own tones or a few of my own tones in that plugin. Second thing I wanted to mention was that this isn't a sponsored video in any way. This is my own guitar. It came to me through a trade on Facebook Marketplace through my Project Marketplace series. If you're not sure what the Project Marketplace series is, I'll leave links to it up above in the cards and at the end of the video, so you can check that out if you like. But essentially, I put a £100 investment into a secondhand guitar, and ever since then, I've continually traded guitars, and at the moment, we have this guitar to enjoy together. All right, first things first, I think we need to have a look at the top of this guitar because I think this is a really beautiful looking guitar. The flame maple top on this with this crimson red kind of burst finish to it, absolutely gorgeous. I think it's really important when you have a guitar that you feel inspired to play it, and I think a lot of that comes from how it looks and how you feel like it kind of looks when you're playing it, and I think that's a really important thing. Before the playability kind of aspect comes into it, I think you got to want to play it and enjoy how it kind of looks and feels when you play it. So I think this is a gorgeous, gorgeous guitar. Very, very cool. From a playability perspective, this is awesome. I'll get it right out of the way now. I hate Floyd Roses. I'm really not a fan of Floyd Roses. If you've been around this channel for any length of time, then you'll be well aware of that. But I'm not a fan of Floyd Rose bridges at all. I find them fiddly, unnecessary. I don't really enjoy using them. I don't enjoy the extra maintenance that comes with them. So I just want to get that out of the way, and I'm going to kind of park that now, and I'm not going to let that affect my opinion of the guitar because everything else about this guitar is really nice. The finish is really nice. The really cool thing with my Project Marketplace series is I get to get a guitar that isn't brand new, and I get to see how well it's held up over time. So this guitar's a few years old. It came to me from a young man called Connor, really nice guy. I traded it for my ESP LTD EX260 guitar, probably my favorite guitar I've had on this channel since we've been doing Marketplace series. But it's a really nice guitar. It's held up really well. The fretboard is lovely. The frets have held up really nice. No fret sprout. The finish is beautiful on it. Absolutely no imperfections at all. Headstock, paintwork, everything. It's a really stunning example of a beautiful import guitar. As with every single Schecter that I think I've ever had on this channel or ever owned, not super in love with the sound and the tone that this thing gives. Schecter often use their own brand pickups. That's what they first did before they became a guitar building company. They built bits and pieces and pickups for guitars as like a repair shop before they became a like actual fully fledged guitar building company, when I believe they were bought out by the same guy that owned ESP and LTD. Anyway, that's a story for another time. But they always put their own pickups in, or often put their own pickups in. I've never really found a Schecter that I really like the pickups on. Always find them quite bright, a little thin, a little shrill. It's all stuff that you can dial around on the EQ. So when you're using amps or you're using digital modelers or whatever, you can always just take away some of the high end, put in a little bit of mids and put in a little bit of bass, and it kind of fixes it. But I always find that whenever I have a Schecter, that's something I have to do every single time, and this is no different. These are active pickups. They are crazy hot pickups, super hot. I had the input dialed right down on my Focusrite to get the tones and the demo for this video done. But they are good pickups. You just gotta kind of know how to dial them in. One mark against this guitar, unfortunately the toggle switch is pretty much completely dead. I'm gonna have to get it replaced before I trade this on. It's a shame, but it is also a really good example of why this kind of series is important and why I think it's a really good series to have a look at secondhand guitars, because like I mentioned, you get to see how well they held up, and sadly the toggle switch is obviously just a cheap proprietary kind of toggle switch, and it's just not stood the test of time. So I'm going to get my man Mark at World's Guitar Repairs, shout out to Mark, I'm going to get him to chuck a new pot in there for me, or a new toggle switch in there for me before I trade this on, because I only want to be trading on good guitars, and then that should sort it out. But yeah, just thought it was worth a mention that the toggle switch is no good. But conversely to that, the Floyd, as much as I hate them, I have to give credit where it's due. The Floyd Rose Special is fantastic. Doesn't mean I enjoyed using it, but as you'll see in this next little clip that I put in, I really went to town trying to get this guitar to go out of tune. I did a lot of dive bombs when I was doing this next little test. I really wanted to try and get this guitar to go out of tune, and I couldn't. It stayed in tune really, really well, even with some really aggressive dive bombs on it. It behaved beautifully while I was playing it. I didn't set this up myself, but when I gave this to Mark to set up with a set of 9 to 42 D'Addario strings, he said they went on no problem. He had to knock the posts back into the body. He said sometimes they work out over time, but other than that, the Floyd's held really well, and I gotta say I'm pretty impressed with it. Another nice little feature that I always like to point out on guitars like this, especially in this price point, this is about a £620 guitar at the time of filming, brand new of course, is when you get just a little bit of attention given to the heel joint back here. So there is obviously a big block, very much like you normally get on a bolt-on guitar, but it is ever so slightly angled, so you do get a little bit extra help getting up into those top frets, into the widdly part of the fretboard. So yeah, always like to point that out. The body carves and the bevels are always a nice touch on these sorts of guitars. The neck's super comfortable as well. Want to point that out. It's not sticky. It's got this kind of natural satin finish to it, not gloss. Don't like gloss necks. I mention that all the time whenever I get a guitar with a gloss neck, but this is a particularly nice neck, and I gotta say I really like a guitar neck that's got a volute. The volute is this, if you're not sure, a volute is this little lumpy bit between the neck and the headstock, which just is supposed to reinforce it and give it a little bit more strength. I just like having them there. It kind of helps me know when I'm at the end of the fretboard, especially, you know, I play live a lot, so I always find that quite a useful thing to have. More so if I play a guitar that doesn't have this little volute, I find I miss it. So it's a really nice thing to have, and I just want to point that out. All in all, I think this is an awesome guitar. I've really enjoyed my time with it, even with the Floyd Rose. No more Floyd Roses, please. But it's a really nice guitar. The fit and finish is excellent. The playability is fantastic. It sounds good as long as you know how to dial it in and take away some of those shrill upper kind of frequencies, but otherwise it sounds really, really good. I think it could be a great bass for first guitar with the Floyd Rose potentially, or like your first nice guitar if you are someone who's a beginner and looking to get something a little bit nicer than a basic kind of £200 kind of starter guitar. This could be a really nice next guitar to go for, or certainly a good first Floyd Rose guitar if that's something you want to check out. If I was keeping this, and this is something that I'd be taking on stage with me, a couple of upgrades I think I would personally do. I'd change out all the electronics, probably put some push-pull pots on, and definitely change those pickups. I'd probably personally put some passive pickups in. That's just generally my favorite kind of pickups, is passive pickups. But if you wanted to keep the active circuitry, you know, a set of EMG 81s would be fantastic in this guitar, and really lean into the whole vibe of this kind of mid-2000s metalcore kind of vibe of a guitar. Only thing that's possibly missing from this guitar is a thick layer of abalone going all the way around the guitar, like you had in the kind of 2005 era of guitar builds. Anyway, I think that's just about going to do it for everything I wanted to say about this particular guitar. Very cool guitar. Recommend it for sure, especially if you're looking to get into Floyd Roses and you're not really sure where to start. I definitely think this one's going to do you well. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. I certainly enjoyed putting it together and writing that ridiculous metalcore demo track. If you enjoyed the video or found it useful, I'd really appreciate your support in dropping a like, leaving a comment, or even hitting the subscribe button if you feel so inclined, so we can hang out again in the future. I've got some wicked guitars in the guitar rack next to me that I am very excited to start making videos on. Thank you again, everybody. I'll speak to you again very soon. Take care till then. In a bit.